Hello, beautiful soul. I'm Vicki Howie of ChakraBoosters.com, creator of Chakra Boosters Healing Tattoos. And today I'm coming to you once again from my home in Sedona, Arizona. But this time you're getting a different view, a different angle, because it's a little earlier because the sun is burning hot, and it's very fitting because we're doing the solar plexus. Now I'm in my neighborhood, and as usual you'll hear cars and people on the road and other sounds, and we're just going to let those go because I don't think it disturbs our information. And I just want to bring to you this third part in our series, the solar plexus chakra shadow qualities. So what do you want to see before you watch this? You want to see shadow in the chakras. You want to look at my root chakra shadow qualities video and my sacral chakra shadow qualities video. Okay, so look at those and then come and watch this one, or watch this one, but go back and make sure to inform yourself of those. Okay, especially the intro video, chakras and the shadow. Okay, now, oh boy, this is a bugaboo. We've been doing the 3 lower chakras, which have a lot of shadow. I've been elucidating 5 qualities, but of course there are many more. So in the comment section, if you want to bring up more shadow qualities that you're working with integrating in a chakra, please do that. This particular one, ooh, part of me wishes I could put it off, because this is the chakra that has the shadow that I believe that our tribe, the spiritual folks, are the most frightened of. These are the ones you've literally been indoctrinated since you were young, if you were following any kind of spiritual studies, to avoid, because the solar plexus chakra is the home of your ego. Now, a healthy ego is one that's very conscious and very integrated with all these shadow aspects, so they actually don't act up. The interesting thing about shadow is when it remains subconscious and unclaimed and unintegrated, it ends up popping up, like when you do crazy things and you don't know why you did them, or you do something and you forget that you even did it, or other people tell you you did stuff and you're like, I did, or you have Freudian slips. All of these things are signs that you're not accepting these parts of yourself, so they're popping up and kind of making an ugly mess, doing their own thing like wild kids in the aisle at the grocery store who want a candy bar or something, and then hiding again. What we want to do is love all parts of ourselves. Now, the old work for spiritual work was everyone was pretty much root chakra on the planet. There was a lot of heavy energy, and there was only this idea that we go upward. Okay, that's all there was. But the truth is now there's a lot of upward energy on the planet, and it's creating a lot of anxiety for some people, and some of us actually need to ground. But the point that I want to make is that over all these years of making, in spiritual circles and spiritual traditions, making the ego wrong, making self wrong, making the lower chakras wrong, has caused us to have a bit of chakraism. So think of how in racism over the years we have tended in our world totally incorrectly, totally biasedly, to make, say, light skin, I'm sure it's different in some cultures, but in general over the world, light skinned people to be better and darker skin to be lesser. And there couldn't be anything further from the truth, right? We human beings are all innately equal, beautiful, divine slices. We're the slices of God. Every single one of us, every shape, every culture, every color, right? The same is true of the chakras. So we've learned to put down the lower chakras, and we've particularly learned to put down the solar plexus chakra, the chakra that would, if we're not careful, if we actually push it down or grandize it too much, could take us away from connection to others. Okay? And certainly it could put our head in control and make us forget to listen to our heart. But the truth is, healthy integration of this shadow, especially at this day and age, is more important than ever. And we have signs in our culture right now by certain leaders and things of really, really unhealthy versions of the shadow of this chakra. And I think you can look at that yourself. Okay? So let's talk about the fact that because we've been taught that this is such a bad place for us to go and to accept and to integrate, we have a bit of a bias against integrating this shadow. So will you please just accept that in the beginning, and let's take baby steps. So in this particular video, I'm going to give you a word that's like level 1. And if you're a shadow warrior, like you've really been doing shadow work and you're cool with all these darker parts of yourself that society has condemned, you can go to the next word I'll give, which will be a more advanced one, a deeper, darker word. So for instance, selfish and narcissistic. You can see narcissistic is a whole nother level up of selfish and self-centeredness. Get it? Okay, so beginners, those of you who know you haven't done any shadow work, let's just stick with the first words and see if we can begin to love them a little and see the gift in them and do some other healing modalities around them. And I will help you with finding the gift in each one. That's the thing that I give in this particular video, which is my first suggestion, first method on how to integrate your shadow qualities. Now, if you want the other 4 suggestions, I'll probably mention them at the end of this video, but you can also go watch the root chakra shadow qualities, and at the last third, in the last part of that video, I walk you through each one of the integration methods. I also highly, highly, highly recommend, in case I forget it later, thework.com by Byron Katie. It's perfect for the healing or integrating method number 5, which is to take back our shadow projections. So we'll visit that again at the end of this video. Right now, let's go to quality number 1. I gave you way more than a hint. The first solar plexus shadow quality is selfish. Okay, selfish. And of course, the advanced version, narcissistic, like just extreme selfishness, extreme self-orientation, right? But many of us are very heart-centered. As in this particular tribe, we're extremely heart-centered. So feel into selfish. It feels really icky, right? And at the same time, feel into the healthy aspect of it. I don't think I need to speak much to the part that we judge, you know, oh, that person's selfish, right? But let's talk about the gift of selfish, because this one is hard for my tribe, for spiritual folk, to embrace. Think about the mother on the flight. She is trained, literally told, to put the oxygen mask on herself first and then on her children. Before her children. Even before her children, and our children are the most important thing that we take care of, right? The most important people on the planet to us as mothers and as fathers. Right? We're told even with them, even with these little people that have our blood and that we bond with so closely, we're still supposed to put the oxygen mask on us first. And that's because 3rd chakra comes before 4th chakra. You cannot help another sufficiently if you haven't helped yourself, if you haven't taken care of yourself. You get that? All right. Selfish. And the gift of selfish is self-care, and actually the ability to be able to care for others. Because when we care for others from a place of depletion, we either do it in a bad way that's not helpful at all because we're tired and ineffective, or we do it in a way where we're drawing from our own reserves so much that we're literally taking from ourselves, and this can breed unconscious resentment. Okay, unconscious resentment. And also, when there isn't even resentment, the body can feel this lack of balance. I have seen many women who have, boy, you're going to see me sweat on this video, guys. Fire chakra. I have seen many women with breast cancer because they were so loving, so taking care of everyone around them, and they never took care of themselves. And what the illness is calling is me. Take care of me. Take care of this. Start here and then move out from there, because cancer is a proliferation. It's saying there's too much in the heart and not enough in the self. You got that? Okay. And I don't mean there's not too much in the heart when all of our chakras are strong, but when we're putting others before us all the time, that's the backwards situation of the oxygen mask. We got that? Okay, that's number 1. Now, number 2, you ready? This one's going to be a little harder to take on than the previous one. Mean. Okay? Now look at children. They really are loving, innocent hearts. And still, they have their mean moments when they're protecting something of theirs, or, you know, when they want something, when they're passionate, when they're spontaneous, there can be little moments of meanness. It's a natural thing. It's like a dog growling on its space. It's a normal part of selfness and wanting your boundaries, okay? And therefore pushing the other away in some way. And in spiritual circles, this is considered horrible. And truthfully, this comes out very, very little when you actually integrate it. Because once you integrate it, you find healthy ways to meet your inner child's needs. If you're not integrating mean, then you're going to tell your inner child they can't be angry or can't be mean or can't be pushing anyone away. And that's going to actually cause it to come out subconsciously. Okay, so what is the extreme of mean? Oh, things like bully. Maybe abuser if you really want to go into the extreme level. But and one would say, well, why would we integrate abuser? You need to watch the other videos, my friend, because we are everything. This has been shown over and over again in physics. We are everything. The question isn't whether we are these things. Jesus sat with beggars and prostitutes and thieves, not because he thought he was better than them, but because he saw himself in them. Right? We are higher than nobody. We are all equal and we are all everything. And we have the choice on what to act on in every moment only when we are aware that we are everything. When we aren't aware we're everything, it comes out in leaky and destructive ways. Okay? So if you've ever been mean to someone and really regretted it, or been aggressive in any way and really regretted it, that was shadow energy coming out. Instead, when you own your mean, you can use the aggressiveness of it if, say, something's done wrong, really done wrong, and it needs a moment of like, hey, this is not right. You can stand in that really clean and clear. Okay, so mean is number 2, and the gift is what I've just been describing. The ability to stand for yourself, to stand for something. Now, when it goes over into the other, it's supposed to be meant to be a boundary. But again, the extreme of these shadow qualities come out when they get blown up, right? And the gift is when we really shrink them back down to a conscious, normal size, okay? So the extreme blow up would be, I'm so creating my space that I'm going over into your space. I'm being aggressive. I'm being a bully. I'm being like mean over into your world. But the real gift of that spectrum of energy is your ability to say no and your ability to say yes, to stand for things that you believe in, and to call it when things aren't fair and things aren't right. Okay? All right. So I know these are hard, guys. Are you with me? I can already feel many of you are going to want to click the thumbs down, and there's nothing I can do about that, but I highly recommend that instead of doing that, you find these parts in yourself. And here's why with solar plexus. Solar plexus is you. It's your identity. It's your power. If you've ever felt that someone else has power over you, whether it's a parent, a friend, a boss, a stranger, then this chakra isn't fully empowered because nobody has power over you. And the best way that I know to have full power, your own full power, is to integrate all the shadow side of the 3rd chakra. So why not give it a shot? Trust me, really work on these this week. Give it a shot and see what happens. Okay? And when it comes to this one, the best one is to work with method number 5 that I told you about taking back the shadow. And you can go and do a Judge Your Neighbor worksheet at byronkatiesthework.com. You'll fill out a Judge Your Neighbor worksheet about aggressive people that you see around you. It's the best way to work with this chakra because sometimes we're so distant from it as spiritual people that we can only see it in those people that are being aggressive toward us. Okay? All right, guys, you're doing great. You're doing great. Upcoming now, number 3, shadow quality. Number 3 of the solar plexus chakra is arrogance. Okay? Now, arrogance, the ability, the feeling of superiority, right? I'm better than you. So this could be like somebody, to the extreme would be somebody just being absolutely full of themselves. And I'm sure in public spheres you can think of people like this. In fact, fame requires quite a bit of third chakra. So in all spheres, celebrity spheres and political spheres, you're going to find some people that will probably fit these descriptions. And what I would say is own back your projections. You can go and do a judge your neighbor worksheet on people you don't even know personally, but are in the public sphere, and you really judge them, okay? All right, so how are you with arrogance? Ooh, how's that feel to put that one on, right? Or being absolutely full of yourself, or just thinking you're truly superior to others. Yeah, what would be the gift of that, right? Now we all have that. We all have that. Kids have sometimes this invincibility if it's not taken away from them in a really young age, if they're not told that they can't do it. A 3-year-old sometimes thinks they can fly off the roof, right? So we have to keep them in check a little bit. But they have this sometimes just this, I'm going to be whatever when I grow up, right? And they've just got this feeling. Well, that's the gift. It's that belief in self. And you remember with all of these, you cannot have the gift fully receive the gift without integrating the shadow. Okay, will you trust me on that and just try it out? And you ask yourself this, if you know you haven't integrated the shadow, and that's going to be the case on a lot of these third chakra qualities, can you check and see if you're able to have the gift of it? Truly have, not mentally have. Look in your life, for instance. Do you have confidence in your life? Are you going after what you want? If you can't embrace arrogance, can you embrace your confidence, which is the other, like the healthiest spectrum of this integrated shadow? That you're confident, that you believe you can do it. I got this, you know, and that you don't let things scare you. You just go, hey, I can do that, right? That's a beautiful, beautiful gift. Okay, that's number 3. Let's go to number 4 before I bake in the sun here. Number 4, the 4th quality of the shadow for the solar plexus chakra is righteousness. Now, righteousness is the feeling I'm right and you're wrong. Now, the 3rd chakra, I didn't go over it all, but the 3rd chakra is in your solar plexus, and it governs all your action, your fight and flight aspects, like just your adrenals, your I'm gonna go do it, that part. It's also your I like this, I don't like that. It's your analytical mental mind. So it's the mind that sometimes fights the heart, but it's also the mind that can really serve you when it wants to. But when it gets a little off balance, it can be the mind that thinks it's always right. And this one's hard for me because I'm always working with ideas, and I have a solar plexus destiny. Right? So I'm still working with this one, owning this one, because I kind of don't want to own it, but I need to own it in order to have more of an open mind, you see? And I need to own the part of me that doesn't have as much of an open mind in order to have the confidence to put out super innovative ideas. Does that make sense? So you can see how righteousness, the feeling of being right, leads you to good action in the world. It leads you to trying to create, stand up and create what you think is right. And it gives you the confidence to fully put your gifts. The gift is that it gives you the confidence to fully share your gifts with the world. Again, it just needs to be dimmed down. And the way we dim it down is by expanding it out, by actually embracing the shadow. Okay, and those of you who've been doing the last couple weeks, I think you're already seeing this. And if you're seeing this in different ways and you're having the courage to really do it, please share your experiences with the others in the tribe in the comments, okay? Because that helps us. All right, so finally, our last one is, and I could do many more, of course, but our last of the 5 that I've chosen is manipulative. Okay, the last shadow quality of the solar plexus, manipulative. Now that one already has a lot of negative. So I could actually say the beginner version of that is controlling. So let me go back, controlling. If you're doing the beginning version, controlling. And then if you're doing the advanced version, manipulative. Okay, manipulative. Dictator-ish, you know, being like a dictator if you want to go all the way to the extreme. Now, if you put a baby in a crib, just an innocent baby, straight from the ethers, straight from the heavens, right? And the baby's pretty young, and you give the baby a button and the ability to control something like the mobile moving above the crib, the baby will continually push that button. It is innately wired in us that we want to control our external environment. It's part of the joy of being in a physical reality, okay? And so the desire to control things is actually a normal part of our human being, the part of us. And as we make it wrong, it goes underground, and we don't even see ourselves trying to manipulate to get the things we want. This is a hard one to be honest with ourselves about, but if you can look back to a situation where you felt unsure, unsafe, and you had to really move things in a certain way, you can look at it. Now, if it's hard to see it, it's going to happen more. Again, I'm going to say it one more time. If you can be okay with the fact that you want to control certain situations, you can do it right out in the open. Some say, well, that person's manipulating you. In truth, if a person is showing you exactly what they're doing, they're putting their power out and asking you to put your power out. It's when it goes under and they're trying to do it. Manipulation has this idea that it's behind the scenes. It's underneath. And actually that happens more from the people that won't accept that they want to control, because it comes out in leaky ways. Gosh, guys, this is advanced work. I hope it makes sense to you. You can certainly ask me questions below. I love to answer them. So that's number 5, manipulative. What's the gift of that? The gift is for you to have normal amounts of awareness of your ability to operate in the physical realm. Like, you can't control everything by any means, but certainly you have some third chakra ability to take action and to be a big force in your own life. And some of us in the spiritual realm get so up in the spirit that we ask spirit to do it all, even though spirit's yelling down to us what to do and trying to give us the courage to actually make the moves we need to make. So spirit imbued every baby with this desire to control the mobile above the bed. Spirit imbued us with the desire to control in order for us to be able to have healthy movement and action through our life. Can you feel that? Are there parts of your life that you're giving up control because you don't want to be controlling or manipulative or bossy or whatever words you want to put on it? Own those back. Those are yours. They belong to you. Where in your life do you want to take a little more control? That's the natural child of God in you. Okay? All right, you guys, I understand that there can be lots of disagreement with this stuff. Just dialogue. Dialogue here. Let's learn from each other. Okay? I understand that this is challenging stuff, but I invite you to dive in first before immediately going outward, because I want to tell you, third chakra brings up a lot of criticism and a lot of blame. Those are more shadows of the third chakra, because the third chakra is about this is right, this is wrong, and so when the third chakra gets out of control on those elements, it puts everything out there. Blame. And my mother was such a blamer that I spent so much of my life here, in both self-blame and blame of others. And because I've had so much fire, boy, I'd say often it was just when I was frightened, it was blame out there. So it feels really good now to be working more with acceptance of any parts of myself that have a healthy need to control, and loving those parts. Just loving that little child that, you know, wants to be safe and wants to control the situation. Okay. I still want you to watch the video on the root chakra, the last third of it. If you've already seen the video, go back and look again at the last third, and you'll see the methods that can help you to integrate these shadow elements. The first one is find the gift. Well, we just did that. I helped you do that for each chakra, so we've already done it. Yay! And you have some personal gifts. You know what they are, that are stronger than the gifts that I've mentioned. They're your gifts. They're the personal experiences in your life. And so anything pops up when you're doing these shadows, if anything pops up, hang on to that. Oh yeah, feel into it. Here's how you do it. Take that quality, dim it down, dim it down, dim it down, dim it down. Remember, here's your third chakra. It's whole. So it includes all the extreme too much qualities. This is the extreme too much. That could be another shadow quality. This is, you know, there's too much emotion in the second chakra in many people's minds, but there's not too much of everything. There's too much emotion. But with the third chakra, it's pretty much just too much, too much, you know, too big, too overwhelming. So feel into that wholeness, anything within that. So again, from narcissist to manipulative to manipulative is part of controlling, right? To mean, to any of those. If you take those pieces out of the pie, they come out of the literally the firepower of the core. But if you accept that they're there, you can actually look at them. Oh, okay, there's that mean aspect, and what do I choose in this moment? Oh, that mean would come out of my fear. So let me feel into my root chakra shadow of neediness, and then let me find my controlling, my positive controlling aspect. What do I need for myself right now? What do I need to do? Instead of lashing out. So I hope that makes sense, but it begins to allow you to navigate on a much more conscious level and to accept all these parts of yourself. So find the gift, and we already did that, but you can find a personal one. And the second one, I don't know if I'll have these in order for sure, but the second one is that you're going to do tapping, EFT. And I do tapping in my video on tapping through the throat chakra. So I'll leave a link for that below, and you can go look at that one and do the same thing. On this one, we could just, oh, and since it's so hard to tap on third chakra qualities, like it's so hard to go, even though I'm selfish, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. Even though I'm manipulative, if that feels too much of a stretch for you, and you know it, you'll feel it in your body, do this. Even though I'm scared to be manipulative, or scared to admit I'm manipulative, scared to be controlling, scared to be bossy, even though I'm scared too, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. So being scared is not stepping into the third, okay? So we start with just, maybe we can't even step into these shadow qualities. Even though I'm scared that I'm arrogant, I'm scared to be superior, to think I'm better than others, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. So those are the tapping ones you'll do. There's a step-by-step process in that throat video, so check that out. Okay, number 3 is that you love yourself, especially your inner child, the little child, and you can always go right to, like in third chakra, you want to go to the 3-year-old, and second chakra, the 2-year-old, or any other age that pops up spontaneously that's under 7. 7 or under, I should say, includes 7. Those first 7 years were your root chakra foundational years, and you were judged a lot and trained a lot, and everything came into you subconsciously. You didn't get to pick whether you got to control a situation or whether you got to feel like you were big on something, that you were like seen and really powerful. You didn't get to pick those things at that time. They were very much laid on you subconsciously. So you go back, talk to that inner child. Also talk to the present you. Put up little stickies and little notes, really support yourself now. And use the more positive and spectrum, the gift side of this, and keep integrating the gift until it gives you the ability to really be okay with the shadow aspect of it. All right? So that's what you want to do. Number 4, I kind of feel I should have made this number 3, which is to elicit memories. So sometimes we wipe out shadows, like we're on subconscious mode, so we forget about it. So do your hardest to honestly elicit a memory. When was I mean? And then love that time. Love the child. Love the normalcy of it. It's normal. We are all human. You wouldn't stop loving a child. I hope you wouldn't stop loving a child just because that child's mean. It's a normal shade in being human. And the more we love it, the more it feels normal, and it doesn't become a kink in the system. So elicit memories. Take a quality like mean. When have I been mean? Recent memories, big memories that you remember, way back memories, whatever you can, and then just read them back and say, I love myself when, and again, you do the work that I just gave you, which is the self-love work. So elicit the memories first, and they in themselves, just eliciting them, just like digging up mushrooms from the bottom of the forest, the dark, mossy part of the forest, just bringing them to the light, It's like then you can harvest the mushrooms, then you can eat them. It's the same way here. Just even remembering, eliciting the memories, brings them into consciousness, integrates the shadow a little bit already. But then when you do the next stage, which is loving the child and loving yourself in those qualities, I love you when. Say to yourself, I love you when. I love you when. And that's sort of what you're doing with the tapping too, right? But if you don't have time to tap and you're walking through your day and you notice a shadow quality come up, just notice it and say, I love you when. I love you when you're upset. I love you when you're selfish. And just, and notice how hard that is to digest, right? But until you can love it, it'll continue to be a kink in the system. And as we already talked about, you need to put the oxygen mask on you first in order to serve everybody, okay? All right, so number 5, I already talked about at least 2 other times in this video, and it's about we project out onto others, especially with the 3rd chakra. It's a big, like, it's self and other. So when it doesn't like what's here, it will put it out on the other because it says, I'm here, you're there, this is right, that's wrong. So there's a lot of blame and criticism with the 3rd chakra in the shadow side, okay? And so if you're feeling yourself really angry, if you're feeling that someone's manipulating you, they're mean to you, they're too angry of a person, they're a narcissist, that's a big word going around YouTube right now. Any of those qualities, I dare you to go to thework.com, do my shadow integration number 5 by filling out a Judge Your Neighbor worksheet. They're on the website at thework.com. A Judge Your Neighbor worksheet. It's under resources. So go to resources in that website and get a Judge Your Neighbor worksheet and fill it out. You will feel so much better, so much better. Byron Katie is the queen of shadow. Shadow light, I would call it, meaning that my teacher, Debbie Ford, would go in the front door toward shadow, and that was great. I learned so much from Debbie, and I loved her force. She was a force of nature. But because our shadow is in the unconscious, and because the conscious doesn't want to integrate shadow, that's why the conscious put all of these qualities in the unconscious in the first place, because it doesn't like them. Your conscious self doesn't want to admit these things. So Byron Katie goes in the back door with the work. Fill out a Judge Your Neighbor worksheet and try it out, and you'll see what I mean. See if you can't get someone to do it with you, and watch several of her videos online so you really get a feel for how this works. It's genius stuff. It goes in the back door and then comes through, and it's kind of like the breakthrough is the dessert. You'll have to do it to know what I mean, to really understand it. And that's everything, my friends. I'm boiling in this Arizona sun. I love being with you, but it's time to say enough for this week. I don't know what time this video is right now. I hope it's under 33 minutes. These have been long videos. I appreciate your patience. I hope you're doing the work, because this cannot be done up here. Yes, you can get an aha up here, but that's it. That's it. You got to be doing all 5, or at least 3, okay? I'll agree to you to do 3 of the shadow integration methods each week for each chakra. And if you do it, I promise you, you're going to feel some openings in your chakras that you have never felt before. And if you do it equally in all the chakras, you're going to feel some power moving through you, some life force, love, spirit moving through you like never before. And that's my desire. That's why I'm here, to help you do that. That's what I love. That's what I'm about. Okay? So that's the solar plexus. Next week we're in the heart, and I will see you then. Blessings.